Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day number 3 of the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships here on TV1. My name is Dan Hobson, alongside Jeff Fitzgerald. It is an elimination game, Jeff. It is a 0-2 Sebastian LeFort team taking on Logan Sweeney, and their teams that are basically on two totally ends of the province. You have the LeFort team out of Sydney, and of course you have the Logan Sweeney team out of the Yarmouth Curling Club. But the thing is, that's not really what's on their minds right now. They got to come away with a victory to keep their dreams alive, as this is an elimination game. So let's get your thoughts on this one as we're into the early stages here of this one, and it looks like LeFort will have the hammer here in end number 1 there, Jeff.
Well, it's great to be back with you again, Dan. Yeah, I suspect what's going to happen here is first couple ends, the boys are going to be a little bit tentative. They're both, like I say, with 2 losses, and whoever loses is going home. So I think they're going to try and get a little feel for the ice early on and feel out their opponent a little bit, see who's going to be the aggressor early on, and see what happens from there.
And we'll introduce the teams as they throw here from Craig Weigel here from the Logan Sweeney team, as I mentioned earlier, out of the Yarmouth Curling Club. Craig Weigel, Nick Doucette is the second, Alex Louette is the third, and you'll notice him with the Toronto Blue Jay baseball hat with the maple leaf on it, and Logan Sweeney is the skip with the gray hat, and they're coached by Aaron Sweeney. So we're here with the team that is, of course, as we talked about earlier, the LeFort team out of the Sydney Curling Club. Eden McNutt, Reese Couture, Nicholas McKenzie is the third, Sebastian LeFort the skip, and they're coached by Yvonne LeFort. And I mentioned Sydney Curling Club. So kind of different that, you know, you were saying just before we went on air about teams, you know, not being from the city, and this is a perfect matchup to get a chance to maybe see some different styles of play.
Absolutely.
And, you know, so it's a...
And I'm not sure with the teams being from opposite ends of the province if they've even seen each other yet this year. So this might be their first time going up against each other. But I see with Sweeney throwing the first rock out front, they might be looking to be a little more aggressive this morning.
Well, I had a chance to cover the Sweeney game yesterday. With, of course, Logan Sweeney came in 1-2, a 6-4 victory yesterday morning over Justin Gray, and he was pretty well on top of that game from pretty well the opening throw to the final stone in that one, and really put the pressure on Team Gray, and it just really had them in fits, and it was definitely a good bounce back game for them after suffering a 10-2 loss to Graham Weigel on day number 1, and of course. After having good success in the morning, the evening draw did not go as well for them. 9-3 loss to Stefano Sokolik out of the Mayflower Curling Club to go to 1-2. Sebastian LeFort, it's kind of been a frustrating championship for him, my friend, because he's so close to coming away with victories. He had 8-7 loss to Sokolik, followed by an 8-7 loss to Ethan Young, so just maybe a break here and there.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he may not even be in this game right now.
Yep, curling can be I wouldn't say a cruel sport sometimes, but it's a game of inches, and that inch goes against you, then you come up on the short end sometimes, for sure.
Here is McNutt and Ayers. And once again, the end here of scrubbing it here, Couture and McKenzie. So far, 4 stones in play, and they're still all in play right now. So maybe not sure if this is going to be the way that we expected, as you say, with a little bit of an unknown factor, possibly, because we're not sure if they've faced each other. So they definitely don't want to start get into a situation where they throw a lot of stones and have a whole big mess.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because, like I say, with both teams facing elimination, you get a lot of rocks in play, you get an opportunity for a big end one way or the other. That's the last thing you want to do in early game, give up a 3 or 4 ender right off the get-go. I thought they might be a little bit more conservative, but I see they're just playing some draws and some bump backs, so could make for an interesting end right off the get-go.
Well, they bumped the blue one back there. The team Sweeney did, and bumped her way out. So right now, the shot stone still belonging to LeFort here. Of course, there's other games taking place here, Jeff. Here, of course, going to keep everybody up to date because I know sometimes people may be tuning in and want to know what's going on the sheets that don't have the cameras in there. So we'll take a look. Of course, sheet C. Of course, Chris Schmoser over there covering that one. Justin Gray versus Ethan Young should be a dandy of a game that one is. And of course, sheet B, the defending champion Matthew Manuel taking on Ryan Abraham on sheet B, and then sheet E sees Graham Weigel taking on Stefano Sokolik.
Yep, that Abraham Manuel game should be a real barn burner. Those two of the top teams in the province, certainly.
So, of course, we will keep up to date there. And you could also go to nscurl.com to find out the online score. It is pretty well up to date, so.
And we're off and running.
Yeah, it's pretty well game on, and you can see pretty well start to get everything pretty well clustered right along the scoring area as we take a look at the second here for Team Sweeney. Nick Doucette, seeing him, having a chance to see him earlier in the championships, not afraid to throw the break weight, so he's taking something off here this one. And just like that, Weigel and Ouellette will now just start brushing, trying to get by, and they do. They'll push their blue back. Will they keep it alive and jam it onto the yellow and get a little bit of separation towards the back 8?
Looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of finesse shots here in the first end. Not a lot of big weight being played. A lot of draws. Tough to do. This ice here has been great in Sackville all week. It's been really running really fast and really straight. Great for the big hitters.
Yeah, for the first couple of days, like we've seen some shots go a little bit heavy at some of the athletes here performing, so you got to wonder maybe we may see a little bit less here on day number 3 of it. The ice has been fantastic. Brian Rayfuse do a double duty, not only coaching the La Sorte, but also maintaining the ice here at the Lakeshore Curling Club. Joking with him yesterday, he said, I got 3 solid hours of sleep. It's like, 3? Is there such thing as 3 solid hours?
Yeah, that's a nap.
Yeah. So he's putting in a lot of time here at the Lakeshore Curling Club. This will come to a stop there at the 12-foot area.
Looks like yellow sitting one at the back, I'd say.
Yeah, so there'll be 1 and 3 here at LeFort here in number 1. And I'm sure that's definitely what the message was for Yvonne LeFort. We mentioned earlier about how, just a break here and there, and they may not even be in this one.
Right.
So, I mean.
Yep. So keep their heads up and know that they've been in the games, and like I say, get another break, one little break going their way, and get to play again.
Here's Alex Ouellette, had a fantastic game yesterday in their game against Justin Gray. The morning draw. Throws the big weight, and he'll get a nose hit and remove the yellow stone and sit there in the top 12.
I think they were looking for more of an inside roll on that one to get behind those stones that are out front, but
as you see right there, pretty easy access there to come down and get the nose hit and probably try to roll in and behind some of that
for sure, yeah.
granite in the front.
Try and sit 2 and take control of the game early.
Well, they have hammer here, number 1, so they definitely want to make sure they can put a crooked number on the board there. As we take a look at the third, Nicholas McKenzie here out of the Sydney Curling Club.
It's great to see a team from Sydney doing so well and coming down with the championships. Don't get to see many teams from northern Nova Scotia.
Well, it's a tough situation for them because sometimes maybe getting out to some of the spiels is difficult because to get to even the central part of Nova Scotia is looking at right around about a 3-hour drive. So,
and this time of the year, you don't know what kind of weather you're going to get.
That's the same for Yarmouth too. Like they're on the South Shore.
Situation, yes.
Looking at about 4.5 hours run again to get into the middle of Nova Scotia. So, travel can be a little bit tough, and probably trying to find games can be a little bit tough. But, basically you got to give both the teams hats off and all the credit in the world to them for getting this far and being this elite and putting the dedication in as much as they have.
Shout out to all the people watching in Yarmouth, my hometown. Hopefully things are going well down there.
Give a curler a second chance to make the shot, and that time he does as he removes the Yellowstone and got the roll. The previous shot he didn't get, was ready to nose hit and got in right behind cover, completely buried. And that's a big one there from Alex Ouellette on his second throw here in number 1.
Yeah, it's going to force LeFort to do something with all those guards out front and try and clear it, open up the 4-foot for them, so that LeFort on his last shot can have access to that.
Looks like LeFort will try to get some separation here out of his third here. Nicholas McKenzie clean some of that mess out front here. It was helping him, but it may be hindering now. So big weight being shown by McKenzie, and he'll split some of those rocks there in the middle of the house and give a little bit of an opening here.
Moved a lot of granite. I think there's probably, I'm not sure there's a hole there to get through that blue one or not.
Boy, they are still looking at one, and of course, Hawkeyes, Jeff Fitzgerald says it is the yellow one towards the back. That is the shot rock, and you see there's another biter there out front at the 12-foot area. Doucette there, and McNutt looking on. As you see, things look a little bit better there in the front there as a big shot being thrown there by McKenzie. And you said all kinds of granite.
Yeah.
So things starting to open up there towards the scoring area.
I don't think there's a hole there quite big enough for LeFort to get through to get access to that blue one. So I think probably Sweeney's probably going to try and come around and bury another one and sit too.
As we're into the skip rocks, of course, sometimes you see in curling these days, sometimes the third is a skip and has somebody throw four storm, but not the case here. Both of them are, of course, skips, and will be throwing skip rocks here in the end of the ends.
Yep, well, you do whatever works, right?
Exactly, so. Logan Sweeney here with his first here in number 1. So far, Weigel and Doucette have not laid a brush to this at all. I think there's a close shot at another sheet there, Jeff. They'll actually raise the yellow, so if it was a no-doubter about it being a biter now, it's definitely in there 12-foot for sure.
We got a few fans braving the cold out there inside the ice shed today.
That one sort of over-curled on them. Yeah, it's not a bad turnout here, right close to our broadcast location. Still, maybe about 1 or 2 seats, but other than that, it's just about standing room only. Yep. So if you want to go for a seat, make sure you go to your car, grab a blanket and some gloves, and go ice level.
Yeah. Or sit in the comfort of your home, have a coffee, and watch. Continue watching the feed right here, right now.
Absolutely so.
Looks like LeFort's going to try and clear up the front with his first one a little bit again. Really not much access for him to that 4-foot area.
Yeah, it was pretty clustered. Of course, McKenzie also did a good job of clearing some things out, but I'm going to try to clear it up once again. Sebastian LeFort. And does, and spills the blue, pushes it towards the back, and
there you go. Blue is 1, yellow's 2. I'm not sure who's 3. I guess I have to say blue is probably 1 and 3 right now.
Good observation there. So the tentative start to what we thought was maybe on the docket is not quite the case.
Nope.
And I think it's pretty well right now. It's when you say you got an elimination game, you might as well leave it all out there if you can. Don't be passive, and tentative, because if it comes out the wrong way, there's really no tomorrow for you.
Coming back. Yep.
So Weigel and Ouellette and Logan Sweeney, they're having a discussion. Of course, Craig Weigel has some experience, not only just playing like the doing the lead role here, as also has been a third and a skip And you kind of see that sort of mentality, because there's been times that all of a sudden he's down, not only being the front end here, but after, of course, rocks have made contact in the house, immediately getting on a stone and trying to brush it out the rest of the way. So, he's got a good head for the game there, Craig Weigel, the lead. So he's definitely involved in the conversation on this, and
I think
also a pretty good idea too. That sorry, Jeff.
Sorry, that's okay. His brother Graham has his team Weigel here in this tournament as well. So good curling family. Looks like Sweeney's going to try and get another one in there and sit two and force LeFort to the single.
Weigel head to set here. Rock starting to come over. Are they going to brush on one in the top 12? They get by about a hair or two, and it will stop here in the back four. And they lie too.
Yeah, a little deeper than they would have liked. If they had let stop in front of the tee line, would have really put the big pressure on LeFort. But now he's going to rock the draw down to and get his one and get out of this first end just scoring one without giving up a steal.
So I'll have to do a little bit of a come around and get this there to the front top four, maybe even button here to get a single point. So if this end is any indication how the rest of this one would go, Jeff, we are in for a good game, an exciting game. Put on your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a great ride here on a Friday morning. Say happy Friday to you and happy Friday to everybody here as we're to the final stone here at end number one.
Happy New Year.
Oh, but this looks like it could be heavy. It could be a steal. And Sweeney stole 5 points yesterday in a game versus Gray. And it could be the case here.
Steal a two for sure. That's probably it.
They're going to take a look once again. Two, definitely.
Going to measure, put a stick on those two? Maybe those three.
I've never seen a measurement with three rocks before. Have you ever seen that?
No,
possibly, maybe.
No, I have not.
This is a rarity. Two for sure.
See, LeFort's bait was tapping the yellow rock. He thinks it's yellow.
And the official are going to come in here, and they're going to do the tape measure here.
Tape measure, not the stick. I'm old school.
Well, we see the measuring stick there on what would be sheet F. Of course, it's not being used here for these championships. So now they'll get over there, and
technology has entered the world of curling.
And this is the part where you insert your Jeopardy music in your head as it plays along while they make the measurements.
We'll just call you Alex.
He had a great stash back then, great mustache.
He did, yes.
Mine would not be that great.
Proud Canadian, too, for all the work he did in the States. So, well, that was quick.
Didn't quite get the indication of whether it's the two. That helps. So it is a steal of two for Sweeney here. And that puts his steal amount of points he's stolen here in these championships up to 7. That's based on the games that are covered. He got some steals and some others as well, but that's still an impressive number.
Absolutely. Stealing points is it's not just a great way to win the game, but it's a great way to get into the head of your opponent. They know even with hammer that they're going to be facing an uphill battle on a team that can steal.
So LeFort will keep the hammer here at end 2 and down by 2. We'll see if the strategy changes here for him, because got in a situation, a lot of rocks to play in that first end alone, and usually you see teams, sort of, try to go through a feeling out process. Not really necessarily the case.
Nope.
That time, and
certainly in Sweeney looking to put a rock up front, put some more pressure on him, but that one's going to slip into the rings.
As Craig Weigel goes a little deep. So LeFort has a decision to make.
Looks like they're going to throw up a corner guard, and here we go again.
Aiden McNutt, pardon me. And so far, McKenzie and Couture are not laying a brush to this, and starting to come over, going off the center line as that is digging in and curling for sure. Couture giving it the extra scrub, and it will come to a stop. Our corner guard, as you mentioned, and Sweeney's got to love his aggressiveness. Just going to say, of course, free guard zone, but just say, hey, not too concerned. I'll throw my own up. Or
going to give me the center line. I'm going to take it.
Of course, the 4 rock free guard zone, 38 minutes of thinking time, and teams have 2 timeouts.
Which is another reason why I thought they might be a bit more conservative off the get-go, just try to bank some of that time for later in the game, but not quite so. That one overcurled on them. He was looking for a tap on that one on the center line, and that really overcurled.
Updating the other games taking place, we look at Sheet E, Graham Weagle versus Stefano Sokolet. Sokolet has a single point to lead that one 1-0. Sheet C, of course, has the Justin Gray versus Ethan Young game. And right now, we have Ethan Young up on Gray 1-0. And over on Sheet B, defending champions Matthew Manuel versus Ryan Abraham, which was promised to be a beauty for sure. Abraham up by a single point, 1-0 there. So you're up to date on what's happening here. Day number 3 of the championships.
Here's a little bit more what we were expecting. Little hit game going back and forth, just exchanging rocks right now. Sweeney will attempt to get rid of that yellow one. Maybe try for a little roll towards the center line.
They're right on the rock. Will they get the roll that they want? No, it looked like they were going to be, but they just completely missed it. It's, of course, we're right down ice level, and we're looking right at that sheet, sort of right at an angle, and look to be on.
Yeah, we're not directly behind it by any means.
Yeah, so a flash, and all of a sudden,
LeFort, a break LeFort was looking for. So,
well, he says I really think that he's been snake bitten. We talked about it earlier, but he just kind of needs a break. Will this be the one that will actually, he could actually take advantage of here? Did number 2.
Gonna try and split the house, come through that port.
Reese Couture, this may be light as McNutt and McKenzie are working hard. Now they're off. So they must be close. So they're trying to get and come around. A little slight port there. Definitely well by the yellow, and they'll get past the blue. And nice. A pretty good shot.
Great shot.
Right on the tee. May be able to see
not much.
Less than a quarter of a rock, maybe even 1/8 of a rock. And they lie too. See what Nick Doucette can do here. See if he can regroup. Of course, Anthony Purcell, who's Purcell right here beside me, has called the game. He says sometimes when you have those flashes like that, you just got to put it right away out of your memory, just like that.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. That's the case now. Of course, he's the head coach of Graham Weagle's team on Sheet E, and their box is right close to our broadcast location.
Yeah,
As I mentioned, 1-0 in that one there.
You got to put those missed shots behind you and just focus on your next shot.
I misspoke. It's Weagle that actually got the point there. So it's 1-0 for Weagle over Sokolik on Sheet E. So pass along my apologies on that. As we concentrate here on Reese Couture here. This one looks a lot heavy. Sail towards the back. So all of a sudden, maybe the door maybe swung back open the other way, and we've seen that. All of a sudden, one team has the door kicked wide open, and then they kick it right back in. So
the curling god giveth, and the curling god taketh away.
Yeah, because now Sweeney can get a play made on that Yellowstone. They're sitting on the tee line.
I don't know if he'll be able to hold his shooter or not, Dan.
Be tough, but at least get a portion of it, and at least be lying two. And if
not laying a broom to it yet.
Yeah, it's got to come over. It's a miss.
There you go, right back the other way.
Boy, this one's going up and down like a teeter-totter here. Almost have to check the date. I know Christmas was a few days ago, but they're still in the season of giving, I guess.
Season of giving, yes, sir. Looks like LeFort's going to try and protect that a little bit as opposed to playing the hit on that open one.
And the thing is, like, all of a sudden we were saying, well, if they made the shot, they would have been, they'd still stick to shooter, go from to lying three to, all of a sudden LeFort lying two. This should be an interesting battle of the thirds. McKenzie versus Ouellette. Of course, the skips are the ones that usually have to make the pressure cooker of a shots, but usually it's, of course, the thirds that set it up. So the Ouellette versus McKenzie. Been impressed with both of their play here so far. I know maybe they haven't got the results that they wanted, but they've really played well enough to make the skip make their shot maybe not as hard as the previous one. So
it really shows you the commitment they have as well. As this team does curl out of the Yarmouth Curling Club, but Alex lives in Halifax, so I don't know how much time they get a chance to actually practice together. But I know they've been together for a few years as a team. So
well, two Yellowstones, they're going to try to go and spill them both, and can't.
Another flash.
Well, Logan Sweeney must feel like he's on an island right now, as Doucette with a flash and Ouellette with a flash, and after stealing two in the first four, if he could stick this here, it could be like three and some behind cover.
I'm not sure line three is the main goal right here. It's certainly taking away that hole. Certainly, that's really over curling on them.
Oh, that's gotten away. It's
light as well.
McNutt and Couture. The four come and go. Do they go to get it even to the hog line?
Oh, that's a big mistake.
Yeah, that's hogged. Boy, I think I gave what they call the curling jigs. I said maybe the thirds are going to be the ones that determine the outcome of this. And Ouellette with the flash and McKenzie with the hog line. And
well, they're certainly having an effect on it. That's for sure. Just not in the positive way. This is the third crack at this rock for the Sweeney team. So we'll see if Logan can make hay. See, they're not taking very much ice at all, right on the edge of the rock.
Well, the thing is, they're just looking at two yellows, and it could have been more than that. So we're going to skip rocks here in two.
They're going to have to get on that, I think, soon. It's pretty close to that guard.
They're trying to hold the line. They just give it the slightest of touch and knock it off.
It looked like he was tight right out of his hand.
Well, it might have pushed it over. If they get a fourth chance at it, they may be able to get it that time, but that port seems to be, well, it looks big from here, but it seems small in their eyes.
Yes, sir. I think you're going to see Stefan. Stefan.
It's like the we see the port of Halifax and they see the port of Ecum-Secum. Not sure if Ecum-Secum has a port, but
well, maybe somebody can let us know. They can send you a tweet.
Yeah, I'm at Dan Hobson 12 if you want to send any comments. Make sure they're nice.
Nice comments, absolutely positive.
No,
we'll only read the positive ones.
Yeah, well, you can let us know where you're watching, who you're hoping for, and all that stuff, and that's at Dan Hobson 12. That's at DANHOBSON 12. This one hasn't had a brush laid to it.
Oh, that's going to come right in.
Is it going to bump some of those too? Give it the slightest of touches and push towards the back, and Ouellette trying to get it out the rest of the way, but it will hang in the back 12.
That's another mistake.
So the 4 lying 2.
And Sweeney's 4th crack at this.
I've said a lot in covering curling for about 3 years now. I've said you never give the curler a second chance at the shot. It seems like this will be the 4th time that they have to get this one, so maybe the 4th time is the charm.
4th time's the charm. It's a gift.
Well, the thing that's going to make it easier, when they came down, they actually rubbed that yellow guard of LeFort, so pushed it over, so it's open now.
The hole is even more open now than it was before. If he hits it just right, he'd probably be able to keep a shooter right there and really make it tough for LeFort.
Sweeney going to come down and take another look. And
well, the thing is, you can't afford to flash this, because if you do, then you're looking at you might be looking at giving up 4. So you need to make sure you get in there and get a piece of that top one anyway and bump that back one back. And either stick there or maybe try to roll behind that center guard on the center line. That's what they're doing. They're playing a little less weight than they were going to play.
Yeah, this team from the Yarmouth Curling Club, and as you mentioned, Ouellette is going to call a timeout, so they'll bring their coach, Aaron Sweeney. There's a lot of indecisiveness here, so Yvonne LeFort and Aaron Sweeney will make their way out to the ice, and an early timeout here in the second end. And this is a pretty good timeout to take, because really the end has not gone very well for Team Sweeney. They've missed some. This is, as we've said, they've missed and flashed on some shots here.
Yeah.
I think LeFort team hasn't been they haven't been much to write home about as well. Yeah. And we're not really saying this to be mean to the families that are watching, but they've had a chance to really
lock this down. Yeah, absolutely.
Put more stones in there and make this even more harder there for Team Sweeney, but just have been a little bit heavy. And
I think what we're going to see here, I don't think they're going to play the hit and roll. The hit and roll is a tough shot because you need to make that roll perfectly. I think what Aaron's going to tell the boys is to come down and make sure their shooter sticks in that top area above that yellow one. Bump the back yellow one back. You might get a slight roll to sit for shot. If not, at least you force LeFort to make the draw to the open side, try and get a full 4 for his deuce. To play the hit and roll is tough, because if you don't make it perfect, you leave yourself wide open, then he's going to have a shot for 2, maybe 3. An easier shot, that is. You certainly can't afford to flash this.
Well, Yvonne LeFort had finished his conversation with his team, and Logan Sweeney's finished now, so
there you go. They're going back to their original plan of playing a little more up weight.
Well, this is what sort of, when you see your teammates, I guess, kind of, have difficulty removing that, all of a sudden, it probably puts a little bit of doubt in your mind. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. You're second guessing yourself every time. Especially on these kind of hits on this kind of ice, because you don't normally miss that many in a row on this kind of ice.
Sokoluk got a single point on sheet E, so that one's tied at 1 as they head to end number 3. It's also tied on sheet C. Justin Gray and Ethan Young, one apiece
that
there.
Rock is floating on them.
They're going to hit the guard, kiss that blue one, and move over, and
you know what? That
may cover that one there. It's on the outside.
That little kiss, I think, saved them because now there's no shot for 4 now, but still a shot for 3. Yeah, that one got away from them. The first 2 stayed out wide and flashed them, and the second 2 came over curled. So that just showed you some indecision on the ice on where to put the broom and what kind of weight to throw early in the game.
Well, this is definitely an end that Team Sweeney would just like to forget about.
Yeah, after stealing 2 in the first end, you think you've got, you've taken an early control of the game, and you give right back with the 3.
Sheet B, it's tied over there between Matthew Manuel and Ryan Abraham, one apiece. They're in the third.
And here we are.
Final stone for Team LeFort out of the Sydney Curling Club. Sitting 2 and a chance for 3, and this one's taken over.
That one's taken right off.
Wow, you got to think that maybe the ice conditions have changed and they're trying to keep it alive. Trying to drag it here is McKenzie and Couture. Can they do it? They're going to push it towards the back and just get 2.
Far. Missed opportunity there.
So they get their deuce, tie things at 2, but of course I had the chance to, take control of this game, and you got to think that maybe the ice conditions have fooling the team there, both teams here in this second end. We've seen a lot of over curls and just things taking off. It's
anything out turn on that center line seems like if any kind of weight at all, it was staying straight. If they backed off the weight a little bit at all, it seems like it's falling right off. So that's going to be something to watch on the even ends going forward. But that certainly wasn't a textbook 2 for LeFort. They got it, but not how you draw it up on the drawing board. I'm sure Yvonne is scratching his head a little bit on that whole end, as well as Aaron.
If they get copies of this game, I'm probably sure that they'll take the little metal eraser and try to, well, let's put that one away, boys. And
so there's no pictures on the scoreboard, as they say in golf and curling.
So 2-2 as we get things underway here in the third end.
Something to keep an eye on, though, Dan, is we're just starting the third end, and both teams are behind pace a little bit in terms of time.
And one timeout being used already by Team Sweeney.
Yeah, so that might come back later on in the game to be a bit of a factor. We'll have to wait and see.
Center line guard there set up. As we take a look at Craig Weigel, the lead. 15 years of age, been curling since 2010. Won the 2015 Under-15 Provincials, 2016 Under-15 Provincials runner-up, 2017 Mixed Under-16 runners-up. The 2017 Gage Cashbiel qualified as one of the 4 teams for the 2019 Canada Winter Games qualifier and plays basketball, and both brothers play on different teams in curling, as you mentioned. So a little rundown on his curling resume there from the lead.
All 3 are out here today, so
you know that the parents are probably trying to keep an eye on all 3. How easy is that?
You could have 3 different jerseys on. You got to make one of those mixed jerseys like they do, instead of having half and half, you got to do third, and third.
Of course, when they had those relationships, of course, you think of Bennifer, like Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. So put all their first names together, Weigel sort of thing.
Yeah.
Who are you here to support?
Weigel.
Yeah, that's the easy answer. That's the easy answer.
So another little flash there from LeFort. Didn't get quite the hit that they were looking for, so Sweeney can split the house and try and start to set himself up for his deuce.
Well by that long guard, and boy, those rocks are taking off.
Oh, yeah.
They have a
That's going to come
wicked curl, and it's going to come out the other side.
That certainly wasn't the plan. It's actually a double here now for LeFort.
Yeah, well, there's been instances where we've talked about like the outside temperature, and of course we were in a little bit of a cold snap. It's actually quite warmer outdoors. Do you think that's going to really affect the ice conditions in here today?
I don't.
There's just a reason that I can't see why it's overgrown so much. Sorry.
No, I don't think it will. They do a great job with the ice conditions here in Sackville. So now, if you were really, really bitterly cold outside or overly warm, certainly. But I don't think we're in either one of those two spots right now.
Little skip to my loo there by Abe McNutt to try to avoid that guard there. It came up on him probably quicker than what he anticipated.
Mind you, that's more the technical side of ice. That's not my.
No, because I just like seeing the curl on this, on these rocks. It just has, and it's just giving the team fits.
Maybe we should get Brian on for a little commentary on that. He would certainly know more than most. That's for sure.
Well, I was kind of chirping at Brian Rayfuse last night in the game because he was coaching Lattisaur. He's right close to the broadcast location, so.
They had a rough game last night on the short end of it. Nice hit and roll there.
Just kidding. He's one of the nicest gentlemen I've had a chance to talk to. Of course, he's coached on teams, so I've had a chance to talk to him and deal with him. Of course, is the ice, takes care of the ice here at the Lakeshore Curling Club, coaches team Isabel Lattisaur as well. So
he's almost like the godfather of curling in Nova Scotia. I mean, he's been around a long time, been to several Briars, and represented the province very well.
And does very well on 3 hours of sleep. Probably a lot better than I do.
A lot better than I would too.
So if somebody got him like some toothpicks for his eyes for Christmas, it'd be probably the greatest gift of all for him. Or some really extra strong coffee. So far, 2 stones in the house belonging to the respective teams. And a 2-2 game here at number 3. Nicholas Doucette, there he is, out of the Yarmouth Curling Club, 15 years of age, and 4 years involved in the sport, has only ever curled with Logan Sweeney as a skip, won the 2016 Under-15 Provincial Championships, the 2017 Gage Cashspiel, 2015 Liverpool Icebreaker, and has won many club tournaments. Future interest to continue curling and become a professional race car driver. Of course, I talked previously about his iRacing. So you got to wonder who some of his favorites are. When I was growing up, I was a Bobby Labonte fan. He did very well, and then as things went on, Bobby's career sort of went down, and then my interest went down.
I can't say I know anything about auto racing. I'm not even sure what the right term is. So every other game is tied 1-1 though here, Dan, except for ours. We're 2-2. So.
One of the jokes about, of course, NASCAR, it's a left turn. And another left turn.
Followed by another one. Round and round we go.
Yeah, there's some people, some famous sports broadcasters that actually make fun of NASCAR. A left turn, and that's where that came from. So I usually just watch like the Daytona 500, just because it's almost that sense of all of a sudden winter's coming to an end, spring's coming around the corner, sort of thing.
I'm sure it's quite something to see live.
Take your noise canceling device there for your ears.
Clean house right now, nothing in play. We got one long guard out front.
Here's Alex Ouellette, the third, curling for 12 years, started at the age of 4. I don't know what you were doing at the age of 4, Jeff, but I certainly wasn't involved in curling. And of course, he's won 2017 U16 mixed provincials, the 2016 Under-15 provincials, and he attends Newbridge Academy as a member of the Newbridge Academy varsity baseball team. He looks like he's probably got a lot of mustard on the fastball if he pitches.
Yeah, he's got that tall, lanky look to him.
Hoping to play some university baseball, and of course, one of the good young pitchers right now locally is a basketball player for the Mount St. Vincent University Mystics. Brad Fuller plays for the Kentville Wildcats, and you were talking about the tall builds. That's the same as Brad Fuller, 6'7", and you can see, well, that's pretty tall as well. So those tall, intimidating pitchers now. If he's a pitcher, of course, we're just
speculating.
We're just looking. He looks like a pitcher. Looks like to be a Blue Jay fan.
I won't hold that against him.
Ooh. That may stir up some little internet problems there.
No, I like the Jays. I like the Jays. Hopefully there'll be something to like next year.
I'll be a stoolie, and I'll probably go out there and say, hey, Jeff Fitzgerald's made fun of the Blue Jays while you're playing. What are you going to say about that, Alex?
I coached Alex in curling a few years ago, so I'm sure he has less than kind words to say already. So.
Well, I guess that's going to backfire on me already. So after a lot of rocks there in N1, things sort of settling down here and look a little conservative here. So
looks like Logan will be looking to try and blank this end, I would think, at this point. Down to skip rocks right now, and unless Stefan leaves him something to hit and roll behind that guard with.
As I mentioned, we have 3 other sheets being underway. Of course, we have Gray versus Young in Sheet C, Manuel versus Abraham Sheet B, and Weagle versus Sokolik on E. So we will update you on those in just a couple of moments.
I think that Gray and Young game also is a C division game that the loser is all finished.
Gets around, nose hit to line 1 there, LeFort. Still 1-1 there, Manuel and Abraham there on Sheet B. Sheet C, our other game that the Bell 5 TV1 cameras are at, with Chris Mosier, Gray versus Young. 2-1 there, Young over Gray. As you say, that's a elimination game because Gray, of course, got his second loss against Sweeney yesterday, so it's a triple knockout. So those teams are battling for their playoff lives, I guess. And still 1-1 there in Sheet E between Graham Weagle of the Chester Curling Club and Stefano Sokolik of the Mayflower Curling Club. 1-1 as they play in number 3, but they were in 2 last rocks.
Yeah. Weagle has a draw for 2 here, I think.
Yeah, as Owen Purcell here, who throws 4th stone here for the team Weagle, is release it there on Sheet E, so we'll update those scores as soon as we get them, and that end has come to an end, and when we get the result, we'll let you know. We're still in the lead rocks here.
LeFort will be looking to try and get a little inside roll on this one.
I got fooled, sorry. I was looking at McNutt, I was like, whew, I didn't think we switched in that quickly. Well, I was looking at the other scores, but we're in the skip rocks, my apologies.
Hit and roll here towards the center line. Try and take away the blank from Sweeney.
Yeah, Weagle got a single point. All those rocks in play, and only one to show. 2-1, Weagle over Sokolik, Sheet E. LeFort's front end here, working hard on this one, and trying to get by the guard, and he'll wreck all over it.
Free shot for 2 for Sweeney now. Now you look at last end, you look at how LeFort ended up with his 2 with all those rocks in play. This end we were looking at a blank, and all of a sudden it opens up for Logan to have a free draw for his 2. So it's funny how the game goes. You can go one way or the other, and you still wind up with your deuce.
And you can see McKenzie and LeFort not too happy in the background of that shot there. Nope. Definitely a good bounce back shot here. They kind of struggled with their weight there in 2. And we're lucky only really to give up 2 is it's the final stone here for Team Sweeney out of the Yarmouth Curling Club. A draw for 2. Take a 4-2 lead.
Looks good, I'd say.
Has a little backing. He'll actually bump that blue one, but They'll get the 2 and take a 4-2 lead into the 4th.
We're looking at a high-scoring game here, Dan. 4-2 after 3.
What's funny is doing some of the women's action here. Team Notting, they scored in their wins. Of course, they ran into a tough team against Caitlin Jones last night. Actually gave up a 6, and that was pretty well it. 10-3, and but they are not afraid to go offense for sure. Scoring 21 points coming into the game, and that's just on 2. So you have a funny feeling. You talk about offense, we could be in for a high score in this one. Maybe somewhere around the 10-9 area.
I wasn't sure they were going to shake last night. They were up 10-2 against Moore in their game after 6, and Moore came back, made it 10-9 going into the last end. So I thought maybe Notting might have tried to hang on there last night, but I guess they didn't see the writing on the wall, and Jones is a very tough team. They don't miss a whole lot of shots.
Good news for LeFort. He has a hammer here in 4th, throwing the yellow stones as this may be hogged.
Close. Nope. Hogged it is.
Hogged it is. Had to take another close look at it. If you're just tuning in on a Friday morning, happy Friday to you folks. My name's Dan Hobson alongside Jeff Fitzgerald. We're at the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships on TV1. Day number 3. And for a couple of these teams, it is elimination day, and that's the case in point here for the Sweeney versus LeFort game here. Both these teams coming in with 2 losses, trying to prevent the 3rd one. If they get the 3rd one, now their time here at the championships will come to an end. And for LeFort, he's been a team that's been sort of snake bitten. Just 2 points have been pretty well the difference there for him in his losses. And for Team Sweeney, they had a tough one. They 10-2 loss there to Grand Weagle on day number 1, but a good bounce back game against Gray, 6-4, and then another tough one, 9-3 to Stefano Sokolik out of the Mayflower Curling Club. So it's been sort of like I'm going to say a lie detector sort of test with the graphs and the thing going up and down. It's been sort of an up and down there for Team Sweeney here in these championships.
Yep. And LeFort suffered 2 8-7 losses, so
either way, he may not even be in this game if he gets a break here or there. But
well, that's the way it goes. LeFort still trying to set up his guards and trying to set up his end to get his deuce.
Here's Aidan McNutt, the 17-year-old's been curling for 10 years. Last curled at the Under-18 tournament, the Under-21 qualifier tournament, and won the Schooner Curling, and was a member of the team that won the Schooner Curling Club cash spiel. He attends the Sydney Academy in grade 12, and he's considering a career in physics, and he includes debating and band. He is the 3rd of 4 children in his family. So do you need any trumpet players maybe, possibly, for anything? I can't think of anything for myself.
Not right offhand.
I'd like to have a good debate, whatever he wants to talk about. Well, it'd be fun to go back and forth with him. I bet you he'd beat me too.
Well, we won't go there, Dan. We won't go there.
Of course, we're talking about current event issues.
Yeah. Okay, it's a little bit of a bad break there for Sweeney. Jammed on the back one. Allows LeFort now to split the house and set himself up for his deuce.
Of course, we could debate soft drinks, whether some,
I think we could probably have a good debate on that one. Yep.
Here's the throw from Reese Couture, the 18-year-old, 8 years involved in the sport, started in 2009 at the age of 10. He also attends Sydney Academy, grade 12, and is a current member of the Combat Engineers in the Reserves and he has asked for a transfer to the Air Force to become a construction technician when he graduates high school in June. Wow. Enjoys the Army, video games, jet skiing, and swimming.
I can't say that my grade 12 year I was thinking about all that stuff. That was a long time ago, but still.
18 years of age and have all that stuff done.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Nick Doucette here in N4. We talked about the lie detector graph going up and down. It's been consistency been a struggle here for him so far. There's times that he's thrown the big weight and flashed a few times.
Nice shot by Doucette there, trying to roll over on top of that yellow one. Just didn't get quite far enough, but still trying to group those rocks together to give them a chance for the double later on. LeFort will now try and hit and roll the other way, but the jam possibility is there if they don't hit it right the right way.
There is a good look at Reese Couture, who we talked about just a couple seconds ago.
Well, that's what Sweeney was looking for. Now those rocks are stored on the same side of the sheet.
Double possibility.
Chance for a double.
Sheet B, of course, everybody wants to pay attention to that one with Ryan Abraham and Matthew Manuel. 2-run right now here, Manuel over Abraham, and they are into the fourth over there.
Now this is the out turn. This is where they were having so much problem in the second end. So we'll see what happens here with Alex's shot.
Alex Ouellette.
Yeah,
he'll just get the top stone and sit there.
Even with that weight, it overcurled on them a little bit, so they didn't get the double that they were looking for, but not a bad position for that rock at all. Directly in the line of that yellow one. So
yeah. So it's like they could probably try to pick that one out and basically hope that they don't jam onto that one, and they know that they lose a shooter.
Exactly. If you hit it too thin, you're going to lose the shooter. So, but they still have to make a play on it, where it is a shot rock right now. So, getting rid of it is the first priority.
That priority is in the hands of Nicholas McKenzie. And not a brush laid to it. Based on this, could be that jam we talked about. Or a flash, or even hit the yellow.
His own out. Wow.
Yeah, you can see McDonald just, patting the skipper on the shoulder. Even though it wasn't his shot, just trying to, try to keep him, pump his tires, I guess is a term that the young kids use and say today. So
is that what they say?
Yeah, they'll pump his tires, I guess.
His tires, okay. It's a chance for Sweeney to split the house and try and force LeFort to the single.
Weigel to set the front end so far.
Not letting a broom do it.
Weigel's talking. Is this going to be an overthrown sail towards the back?
Yes, sir.
And LeFort just makes sure that it does.
Tell you, these even ends, both teams seem to be struggling with that ice coming back.
McKenzie has a second chance here now.
They're coming the other way, though. They're coming with the in-turn this time, so maybe they learned something from that out-turn.
Nutt and Couture. Get the roll. Back 4 foot to be lying 1. As we're into skip rocks, and with ends like this, you talked about the time being maybe possibly an issue. They're going to need probably some pretty well fast ends, and that's probably going to rely on the peel and hitting there to get them so they can get here, have some time there left towards the end.
Yep, not a whole lot of thinking going on into these shots. Just basically put the broom down and Now, you still have to steel yourself in the hack and make sure you don't come out too hard and too overthrow it. Definitely want to stick around here.
Yeah, the overcurls have been a little bit of a story here so far. And so we're going to skip rocks here in 4-4-2. Sweeney, LeFort. An elimination game here, the 2017 AMJ Campbell, Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships on TV1. And
not going to stick around.
Yeah, so the game plan has changed. Maybe LeFort will try to blank this and carry the hammer into 5th. Sometimes at these championships, this getting to the 5th end seems like almost like a marathon, because some of these teams have been giving up the big crooked numbers, the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, and the 3s. So that's how this sort of 5th ends have sort of gone in here in these championships. And
yeah, it's a bit of a mental game too. Start giving up those big ends.
Sebastian LeFort here in 4.
Let's see if he can find his draw. Wait, put one on the forefoot there and make Logan play that out turn hit again.
This one curling as well. That has been an issue. Over curls and lightweight. The front end here of McNutt and Couture working hard and showing that they've put some extra hours in the gym, and they dragged that rock there of Sebastian LeFort's to the 12-foot area. They wanted it deeper, but it was light from pretty well the get-go, and nice piece of work there by McNutt and Couture to get it there.
Yeah, not a bad spot for that rock either, because now if Logan Sweeney noses it, he won't be in the rings. They'll certainly make the blank that much easier for LeFort, but if Logan can roll into the rings, force Sebastian to hit and roll out.
Sweeney taking his time as we await the delivery here in end number 4.
They're playing the in turn. They're a little afraid of that out turn.
Light brushing there by Doucette and Weigel. And you talk about there's the nose hit and well outside the ring. So now, of course, for LeFort, he's going to come and take a look at it, and he'll point a spot, something that he could actually use maybe later on here in this one, and throw it right through the house and see the path that takes here. So I think he'll gladly take this shot, because some of the he's had some real difficult shots here, of course, here in this championships. Pretty well since day number 1. So you have a chance here to just grip it and rip it. It is probably a little bit of a stress relief for him. It's the final stone here in number 4. LeFort, we're going to go for the blank.
Give him a chance to see what
McNutt and Couture going for a foot race here. Looks like Couture will get to the finish line before McNutt. That was some fancy, going down the ice.
That
was a nice little two-step.
Little two-step.
Yeah, for sure. They'll blank it here in end number 4 and carry the hammer in end number 5. And that will allow us to take a look, see the scores.
Sydney Academy. Is that a dance school too? I mean, he plays the trumpet. Maybe does some dancing to boot.
Well, they've got some great, musical talent there from Sydney. You don't have to say that. People back there know that very well.
Absolutely.
Sheet C, of course, is a big game there going on between Justin Gray and Ethan Young. Right now it is 2-2 as they play the 5th. And we're in the 5th here, so we'll get updates on Sheet E with Weigel versus Sokolik and Manuel versus Abraham on Sheet B in just a couple moments. 2-1, it still looks like they're at Sheet B there for Manuel over Abraham. As we get back to action here on Sheet D, our main event here is Team Sweeney, Team LeFort. Both these teams coming in with 2 losses, trying to prevent that third one, and this is going to be well shy.
Not how you want to start the end for Logan Sweeney.
I wish I was keeping track of how many hogs there has been, but there's been a lot here in this one.
I would say we're looking at 3 or 4 anyway, Dan.
Yep. That's just the unofficial count, but I was thinking that myself. But kind of shocking seeing that they're having this amount of difficulty
this far into the game.
There's Aiden McNutt here, 5.
That game on sheet E is in the 5th end. It's all tied up 2-2 between Weagle and Sokolik.
Corner guard being thrown up, and see if Sweeney throws one of his own or comes into the house. It's
a little tight to the center line for LeFort, so Sweeney's going to take advantage of it, go around, try and bury one into the 4-foot.
Slight brushing now. They'll get on into it here. Is Doucette and Ouellette.
That rock, that is just taken off on the out-turn draws. That rock started a good foot and a half on the other side of the center line and came all the way over, made contact with that yellow guard out front.
Boy, you got to wonder what the coaching staff is going to say here to the teams here for the 5th ed, because all of a sudden they just seem like they're just like struggling. It's over curls, it's light,
it's almost like they're not believing what they're seeing.
Yeah.
They know what the ice has been like, so they're almost continuing on with that thought as opposed to adjusting what they're actually seeing in front of them.
I was hanging around one of the coaching boxes here, of course, right close to our broadcast location, just further down. The girls were always talking about the ice conditions, and I said, "What, are you kidding me?" It's almost like a Chelsea Carey, because Chelsea Carey said that at the Roar of the Rigs, is that all of a sudden things started to change. Of course, the game was sort of out of hand. She was winning at the time, but just like that, she just said, "Are you kidding me?" So far, if we were able to have personal mics right on the players itself, I'm sure that would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, there would certainly be some.
Why is these over curling?
Exactly,
Why?
Yeah. Some surprise out there for sure.
There's Nick Doucette. Ouellette and Logan Sweeney had a little bit of a chit chat, try to wonder where this one is, and
well, they're expecting that to curl, but that one had a little bit more weight than the earlier one, so it didn't quite come over.
They're going to bump that yellow. No, it's going to flash by the yellow. Will bite in and stay towards the back. Nope, it will go all the way sailing out.
There's a fine line there with the weight. If you're just a little bit heavy, she'll run straight, but if you're not quite there, she gets the curl and she goes.
Reese Couture.
I like the same. I'll throw a bit more.
I have a funny feeling the team that adjusts well with the ice is probably going to be the benefactor here of this one. This one's going to come in deep and maybe get too close to that one towards the back, and at least Sweeney here with double to spill those out.
I don't know if those guards out front are protecting it at all. It's hard. We're not exactly, like I say, we don't have the exactly line on the sheet. Oh, there we go.
There's a path there. You come down here, bounce off that one, and it may stick one of those 2 yellows.
Yeah, I don't know if the double's there.
Yeah.
Got to be able to get to the nose of it to make the double, but nonetheless, he definitely wants to get rid of the back one and make some movement.
Doucette, not afraid to throw the big weight, can do it. Being asked here by Logan Sweeney here, Ouellette trying to keep the line. Well done. And he'll bounce one of those yellows out. The other one will stick there, close to the button. Or at least limiting the damage for now. Yellow shot stone belonging to LeFort.
The only danger for LeFort is that yellow one that's in the rings right now is behind the tee line, so that's an opportunity for Logan to draw down to it and really put some pressure on them if they don't take that away, which is what they're trying to do right now. But this rock seems to be hanging out there.
It's gotten away. Now they'll get a piece of the blue, but they'll lose your shooter.
That'll give Logan a chance to pop that one back or just come down and sit on top of it.
Not exactly the worst case scenario there for them, but end up getting that. But it could have been a flash and
it could have been real bad,
real disastrous. But they left that and didn't even touch it as long as they possibly could. So,
which is a surprise. It's, like I said, they're really struggling. It seems like it's all the out turns they seem to be struggling with. Both teams.
Yeah, I know when they do like the post-game sort of analysis, when they get together, they get their clipboards and take notes and, you know, talk about the game. I'm not sure that every team does that, but I'm sure most of them probably will have some sort of something similar to that. And they'll just sit there and shake their head. It's like, I don't know. We don't know. The out turns, it's just a baffling situation. So now, of course, the Team Sweeney up by 2 here. There's Nicholas McKenzie, the age of 18 years of age. Been curling for 8 years. Under-21 provincial with Team LeFort. He's curled in. Under-18 also with Team LeFort. Canada Games qualifiers. With, of course, the same team. Attends Riverview High School in grade 12. And after graduating from Riverview High School, he plans on working in the Canadian Coast Guard College or attending the Canadian Coast Guard College, and he has an interest in photography and travel. Well, he's a curler. He's in the right profession for that, travel for sure. And he's a junior firefighter, bilingual, and can be fireworks technician in training. So
wow.
If you're looking for somebody to do the fireworks there for the New Year's Eve thing, he's probably going to be there learning all about it. I had an interesting situation with fireworks. I attended one of the local fireworks things that they had in one of the community things, and well, they kind of misfired, and we had to basically run for our lives, and they were just, they misfired, as I said, and they were just coming all over the place, and you know, I had to really run. It was like at a softball diamond. We were right along the fence. Oh, we're going to be safe. We're going to be okay. Oh no, I was running away like some sort of boogeyman or some sort of monster, and here's a whole community of people just laughing at me, and it's like. So it's really important to know your fireworks and be a technician so those things don't happen.
I would like to have heard your play-by-play on that, actually, Dan. That would have been quite funny.
Oh no, they're coming at us.
That was another out turn by Sweeney that sort of overcurled on them and wrecked on the guard, so here we go again. This one's going to start diving. The boys are working at it.
Yeah, the boys are McNutt and Coach Orr. Those guards coming up, are they going to get by them? Yes, just get by them.
Enough weight
they
to
might
move
have
that
a nice
back.
shot here to push this one back, and they do. To lie one, and of course second shot belonging to Sweeney, but a nice piece of work there by McKenzie there.
Good sweeping. The boys really worked on it to get it past that guard.
A great team shot there from them.
That leaves just about half a rock exposed for Logan, but oh, there's a hole there. The hole's, it's there, but
it's like that, ecum secum port that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, looks like he's just going to draw it down to it anyway. Doesn't want to play the big weight, because if you do, you might be looking at a jam on that back one.
Skip rocks here in number 5. 4-2 is the score. And a game that's seen the teams struggle here. Day number 3 of the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships on TV1. Just tuning in. Alongside Jeff Fitzgerald, my name is Dan Hobson, and You know, LeFort's had his chances and Sweeney's had his chances as well, but the weight and overcurl has been a little bit of an issue here for both teams, and they're trying to figure that puzzle out as we're into skip stones here in 5.
That one hung on them.
Bump the yellow, and they don't want to bump it too much. Get to be the second shot.
I think blue is still second right now.
And timeout here by Sebastian LeFort. So Yvon LeFort comes out of his chair, makes his way past our location.
Well, he is.
And also there is Aaron Sweeney making his way out. So both teams have used at least one.
And LeFort is sitting 1 and 2 right now. So
this will give us a chance to talk about Sebastian LeFort, the skip here of this team here from the Sydney Curling Club. He has curled for 11 years, and he started at the age of 6.5. Has been curling competitive. When he and other members of his team decide to do it, they will try to go for the Canada Games. Although they did not end up representing Nova Scotia at the Canadian Winter Games, it introduced him to competitive curling, and they have continued to go on to more competitions in the province since then. He's a grade 12 student, and he sends at Centre Scolaire Etoile l'Acadie, and I hope I get that pronounced right, in Sydney, Nova Scotia.
sounds good.
And French community for sure. He loves writing and is writing 2 short stories that were published into 2 books, so he's definitely an excellent writer.
Awesome.
Works at the Fortress of Louisbourg in the summertime, dressed in costume as an 18th century drummer, and loves to play music. That would be a fun job.
Absolutely. Talented team.
Not only talented on the ice, but talented off. So both teams have 1 timeout. And you talked earlier about them taking a lot of time. They 38 minutes for thinking time, and they're right around like the 20 to 22 mark for each of the teams. So they have really quickened the pace up here a bit, so they should be okay.
I think Yvon out there gave him a little bit of advice to maybe throw the guard up there, protect what they have.
Team LeFort has the hammer here in 5, as you see, and once again, the front end, they're going to earn their breakfast or dinner after this one. They have been sweeping hard, Couture and McNutt. They're going to centerline guard what they got.
Yeah. Just looking to take away that raise on that blue one that's just biting their full 12 foot there. So
Sweeney going to take a close look at it here, Jeff, see if he can see something there, maybe try to get it back.
might be able to get, I'm sure he can get to that yellow one, yes, back there. Wouldn't be able to hold his shooter though. But there's certainly an angle on his blue one if you want to try that too. But looks like they're going to play it safe and try and get rid of that yellow one and force Sebastian to make a tough shot to get his deuce.
Sweeney here getting ready for his last throw here in 5. While he gets ready, sheet E, it's 2-2 right now, Weagle and Sokolik.
A lot of rocks in play on that sheet.
That's one big gigantic mess. Once again, Doucette and Weagle working hard here. They're going to try to raise this one back. They're going to they'll raise the blue, but they won't be able to get any of those yellows. So now LeFort does he even have a spot here to try to get a third win here, Jeff? It may be difficult for him. Definitely has the 2 for sure on the board, but
well, with the way that curls on the out turn there, Dan, if they can just get skinny by that guard up front, that'll come into the 4-foot quite nice for them, as long as they're throwing the right weight at it. You don't want to get too far outside and do anything with your yellow one that's just biting the 4-foot, because then you might knock it off and end up only with the single. But if they can get by that guard, they should be fine for their 3. Big turnaround here. That's that out turn for Logan again and over curled on him.
final stone here in number 5 for Team LeFort out of the Sydney Curling Club. They're sitting pretty right now with 2, hoping to make it 3 and take the lead for the first time as they head into the 5th end break. But the front end of Couture and McNutt have not laid much of a brush to it. Now they do. Slight cleaning at best.
Hanging on them. Oh, they'll bump their own in and take their deuce.
And they'll get 2 and tie things up. And 4-4 after 5 ends of play. Let's do a quick recap of what we've seen so far. The teams have kind of struggled with things, over curled and everything. So to be even Steven after 5 ends heading into the 5th end break, I'm sure they'd gladly take it, because it was a struggle and it was really tough for both of the teams.
That score is certainly indicative of the play. Both teams struggling, both teams playing almost shot for shot, whether they miss one or not, miss back and forth, but go to the break all tied at 4, and then Logan will come out with the hammer in the 6th, and we'll see what he can do with it at that point.
So we will take a break here on Bell 5 TV1's coverage of the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships. Back in about 5 minutes here on TV1.
Got a little positive on that one. I didn't think I even threw it that time.
I messed up.
Anyway, it is what it is. Breakfast this morning? We're not horrible for time, but we're a little bit.
Welcome back to the Lakeshore Curling Club in beautiful Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia. It is the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships on TV1. And in just a couple of weeks, the 2018 Scotties begins Tuesday, January 9th from the Dartmouth Curling Club. And catch all the action here on Bell 5 TV1 beginning Tuesday, January 9th at 9 a.m. Krista McDermott, Julie McAvoy, Jill Brothers, Teresa Breed, Marianne Arsenault, Colleen Jones, Colleen Pinkney, and Isabel Lattiser, all battling to represent Nova Scotia at the Scotties. Alongside my broadcast colleague Jeff Fitzgerald, my name is Dan Hobson, and first 5 ends of play, they have not been a Picasso, that's for sure.
No,
the
sir.
teams have sort of struggled there with over curls and weight, and 4-4, can't really ask for anything better than that.
Well, it's a brand new game, 5 ends in the books, 5 ends to go. We start from scratch, it's like a 5-end game right now. So move forward and try and figure out exactly what's going on with those out turns for everybody, and see what they can put on the board here.
Sweeney has the hammer here in 6, playing the Blue Stones. And of course, we've got other action taking place. All 4 sheets being used here, of course, on the day number 3, the morning draw here from the Lakeshore Curling Club here on TV1.
And LeFort going right back to the well, putting that rock out front and being a little aggressive, and looks like we're gonna have rocks in play again.
They're at the 5th end break on sheet B between Matthew Manuel and Ryan Abraham. Of course, there's a battle of Mayflower curling clubs there. And right now it is the blue-handled stone of Ryan Abraham leading Matthew Manuel 3-2 as Abraham got 2 in the 4th. They blanked the 5th. 3-2 is where we stand on that one on sheet B. Something about sheet E being brought to you by the number 1, because there were 1s all of last night in the women's draw. That's a case in point here. 3-2, but each team has been able to get a single point so far. Of course, right now it is the yellow-handled stones belonging to Graham Weigel, and they curl out of the Chester Curling Club, leading Stefano Sokolik of the Mayflower Curling Club, and that is 3-2. That's in the 6th, because they were pretty well with the same as us for the 5th end break.
Looks like everybody's into the 6th end now, so.
Sheet C, along with our broadcast colleague Chris Mosier, Justin Gray, and Ethan Young. A 2 spot went on the board there for Ethan Young just before the break, so he is up 4-2 as they play the 6th. Now you're up to date on what's happening here.
So LeFort tried to go around his own guard there and came up a little bit light. He's in the rings, but he's half open, but the 4-foot is still wide open for Logan.
Yeah, the Matthew Manuel Ryan Abraham matchup is a battle of Mayflower Curling Club. So is Ethan Young and Justin Gray.
Yes, they're Mayflower very well supported here at the Under-21 Championships. I think Sokolik is the Mayflower team as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Sokolik is a Mayflower as well, as you mentioned. Yep.
And yet on the girls' side, not a single Mayflower team. So there you go.
Blue handled stone of Sweeney's towards the back 12.
Yeah, that came really far back. They didn't want it way back there.
Coach Orr now. The front end working hard once again. McNutt and McKenzie. They did a good job just to hold the line to get a piece of that rock. The shooter goes, but boy, they were pretty well on it right upon release.
Yeah, again, that out turn. They seem to be curling. Even with that weight that far out. They almost lost it, but they held on to it. Chance for Sweeney to try and come around those two.
Nick Doucette. This looks like it's got a lot of heat on it.
Not sure what the conversation was at the fifth end break, but it doesn't seem like anything is sticking.
Heart goes out to Nick. He's had, like, you know, as I said, like a roller coaster up and down, and it's just trying to find that control and trying to find that consistency. But I mean, the thing is that everybody's got to remember these are young adults.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not professional. There's no doubt about that. You know, they're in the 15s, some are even low as 14. So I mean, they're learning.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is where you got to do it.
Yeah, for these teams, it's probably their first or second crack at this. They're going to have 3 or 4 more cracks at it. So all a learning experience.
Come around here by LeFort here, try to sit 2, get past that one in the top 12.
Nice shot, good sweep.
And McKenzie, yeah, that front end has been spectacular here for the LeFort team. McNutt and McKenzie and Coach Orr, like, earning their pay if they actually were getting paid.
If they were getting paid. They say they pay the skips the big bucks, but the front end earned it. The front end earns it. Logan's deciding to peel off that top one. Maybe get a break and maybe get 2 or all 3 of them moving. You never know.
Yeah, there it is. Get some separation. But that blue handle one is working pretty good for LeFort right now for him. He's got the yellow stones here. Without hammer here at 6. Nicholas McKenzie here.
Try and bring another one around that top guard into the 4-foot. We don't want to disturb that guard out front, but it looks like that's exactly what might be happening here. Well, that's not too bad. That staggers him a little bit. That
pretty well right on top of the lid there of that one out front.
Might take the angle away for Logan to drive it back, but
still he's asking for that option.
Definitely going to be looking at moving that anyway. That blue one will go. I don't know. It might get a piece of that yellow one when it goes by. A little bit of a drag effect there. We'll see what happens.
Deep Sweeney got to try to, with this rock, get a little bit of separation here.
Look at that.
Does that. Opens up the blue one, but does get one into the rings there to lie one, but it's fully accessible there for Team LeFort.
Yeah, that's a great shot. That gets the rocks off the 4-foot line. That'll leave that scoring area open for Sweeney if he needs it with this last rock.
So LeFort can, like, he's got like a couple of options. Like hit and roll in behind the blue one or hit behind the yellow one, but I think probably the blue one would probably be the easier shot here for McKenzie. Looks like he'll maybe roll out the other side. Yes, he will. Actually, even lose the shooter. To be precise.
Give Logan a chance to go around his own rock now.
I'm going to ask Alex Goulette, as you mentioned, go in behind that. And RC's got the hammer here at N6. So far, with the team scoring, they're not wasting. Not when they've had a chance to score, it's been twos. Sweeney got 2 in the first. LeFort got 2 in the second. The tie at 2, and Sweeney 2 in 3. They blanked in 4, and LeFort with a deuce in 5.
Deuce is wild, other than that fourth end.
Open, try not to brush that blue guard, and they do. It's the over curl, been the story. Weagle pats Ouellette on the back, and a puzzled look there on the youngster's face. So all of a sudden, that shot that was by a few seconds ago, previous, what open stuff up, it's starting to get more congested again.
Junked up again. Yeah.
Couple of little ports to get access there to the 4-foot area.
You know, I think with the draws, what the teams need to do at this point is, if they're playing a draw, they need to get the sweepers on it early. It seems like everything is coming over and wrecking on the guards out front. So get them on it early until you're sure that you're by. No, now hopefully you're not throwing too much weight and you're going to sweep it right through the house. But it seems to be that's happening with a lot of rocks. This one looks like it's going to overcurl as well.
Well, both Couture and McNutt were on, and McKenzie coming out as well, so they're going to get like all threes, and it's going to be all hands on deck here, but that's going to wreck over the yellow and over curl.
Yeah,
been the story here of this one.
Yeah, so at this point, they're not even looking at drawing right now. They're looking at tapping up. The draw just doesn't seem to be there for anybody.
Go with what you feel comfortable with is the case here. As we hear some,
or what you feel less comfortable with.
Yeah. As you've heard some of the action on the other sheets. Bell 5 TV1 microphones there picking up everything going on here in day number 3 of the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships on TV1. Logan Sweeney had an easy game yesterday, as I mentioned, over Team Gray, 6-4. And 5 of those points that he scored came off of steals. Steal of 2 and a steal of 3. Not quite having an easy morning so far here today. In an elimination game here at the championships. Sweeney came in at 1-2, LeFort 0-2. Tries to bump that blue in. Will he bump it in enough? He'll get it into the 8-foot area, top 8.
Did the shooter roll on?
It looks out from here. I see white ice.
Yep, it's out.
Yes, it is. We'll see white ice. A nice shot there. Thanks to our producer, Chuck Calder, for that one. So they definitely lie 1.
It is. I believe it's wide open, though. Yep.
Yeah, center line pretty open.
But again, with the way it's curling, they really need to be careful with the weight they throw.
But of course, with the way the teams have had difficulty, there's no more gimmies anymore. There's no gimmies in this sport.
No.
And with the difficulties the teams are having, definitely no gimmies.
He was narrow out of his hand, Dan.
Yeah, they have to work hard once again. Couture and McNutt, and that's right along the center line, and you can see it sort of coming off. Is the shrapnel front going to get in the way? Yes, it is. But it'll push the yellow in and get the blue to go bye-bye and sit shot stone for LeFort. And once again, McNutt and Couture, great brushing to keep the line.
Oh, that was great sweeping by the front end there. Sweeney will try the same shot and try to roll over behind his own guard, his own blue rock here now. Still trying to manufacture his deuce. If he can manage to hit about a third of this rock and roll across and get behind his own 2 rocks on the right there, set himself up pretty good.
Last rock here for Logan Sweeney here in number 6 of a 4-4 game. Win to keep your championship dreams alive. Just remove the yellow stone. And the shooter goes as well for the blank and 6.
Well, there you go. That was the last rock. So there you go. I was 1 rock behind.
So Sweeney will keep the hammer here in number 7. Remind everybody the 2018 Deloitte Tanker begins Tuesday, January 9th at 2 p.m. from the Dartmouth Curling Club. Catch all the action here on Bell 5 TV 1, your home for Nova Scotia curling. We're delighted to be there, bring you up to date. What a field it is. Stuart Thompson, Jamie Murphy, of course. Those were the 2 top teams according to their standings, so they were automatically punched in, and they had qualifiers there just before Christmas. And Brent McDougall, Chad Stevens, Greg Power, Mike Fleming, Mark Dacey, and Kendall Thompson all moved on to that qualifier. So 8 teams and 1 tankard. The Deloitte Tankard starts January 9th here on Bell 5 TV 1.
It's great to see that qualifier was held in Greenwood as well. Not a whole lot of spiels get down that way, so it's good to see them getting back into the circuit.
Yeah, so when they get those type of events down there, you know darn well those Annapolis Valley people are going to go and support it and go in droves. Beautiful piece of Nova Scotia. If you've never been there, folks, all kinds of great farmland to actually look at, and like scenery and everything. It's a nice piece to be here.
Beautiful spot all year round. Beautiful province all year round.
Blank and 6 there for on sheet E between Weagle and Sokolik.
That picked.
You can see all of a sudden Weagle right now just scraping the ice in the back, and a picky is
that's a bad break, because McNutt's first rock was really nice. Great centerline guard. Now he's going to endeavor to go around it.
Still 3-2 Weagle over Sokolik there on sheet E. As I mentioned, blank and 6. I think they're still playing in number 6 there on sheet B with Manuel and Abraham. Last update they had, it was 3-2 Abraham over Manuel. So they must be still getting to the closing stages there of 6.
Yeah, I believe it's the last rock being delivered right now.
Come around here, but is they going to dig in enough time? Sweeney got to try to push it towards the back. Can he get it out? Yes, sir. Trying to find that fine line. They've either been way light to the point of over curls or been heavy. It's just...
Yep, there's a fine line there. They just haven't found it yet. Let's see what Weagle can do here.
Weagle hoping for better luck. Of course, his last rock picked. We get into the stages where all of a sudden the slide path pebble starts to reduce, and debris that was not there in the early going is all of a sudden, whoop, there it is.
Yeah. Well,
just like picks.
Well, you think about the timeouts and everything. You have coaches going out, and you never know what debris they might be taking out with them, which transfers to the ice. Which, you know, that's why most of the times when they're sweeping, they need to keep that path nice and clean. Just clean the rock, even if you're not sweeping hard on it. Just keeping it clean, keeping that debris out from underneath the rock.
Yeah, this seems sort of like the one-hand sort of cleaning sort of thing, just to keep her
Yeah, exactly.
Reese Couture. One blow handled lonely stone belonging to Sweeney in the house.
Out turn, and the boys are working it, and I think it's going to
They'll hold the line again.
No,
no, it's actually going to go by. They try to, and it goes by. So
yeah, they're being fooled by that out turn, Dan. Everybody, every one of them. I'd like to see them adjust a little bit, maybe take a little more ice for those out turn hits.
Nick Doucette. Hoping to maybe protect that one that's in the house belonging to Team Sweeney right now, but once he had the curl on this, and you could just see it take off. Usually it was taken off by the hog line right there, but boy, she is taken off like almost like halfway in between, and it's going to touch that yellow guard.
Yeah, there's something going on, because they wanted to come around that yellow guard on the right-hand side. So for that to over curl that much, they're being fooled by the ice conditions. And I'm looking at some of the other sheets. There's a lot of similar stuff happening on the other sheets as well. The gentlemen aren't getting into that zone where they're reading the ice.
Didn't lay a brush to it. They do remove the blue stone, and yellow will sit the top 12. I think you were talking about them taking more ice. They did, and they never even laid a brush to that one.
So. Well, this one is further out on the sheet, so we'll see.
This may run a little more straighter sometimes.
And they're throwing a much bigger weight at it as well, so.
Doucette, big weight, not a surprise.
And again,
it just hold the line. Ouellette and Weagle. LeFort got to sweep it out the rest of the way. Will take a spin and come back. No, it won't in time as it sails towards the back 12 and out. The rings are on and nobody's home right now. Nicholas McKenzie. And right away they were on it.
Yeah, they were yelling light right out of his hand.
Couture and McNutt. I'm not sure if the LeFort team has a masseuse, but they've definitely earned their trip to the massage table for sure. Especially McNutt. It's just seemed like he gets right down and gets right down on the broom as much as possible to get the best results here for his team. But he's just been working hard and has earned, I already said earlier, he's earned his meal. He's also earned a chance here for definitely some, maybe 8-5, 3-5 sort of thing.
Maybe a little break between now and the next draw, assuming that they're playing. He's leaving it all on the table, that's for sure.
Well, for these teams, both these teams, there's no tomorrow. Win and you keep your hopes alive. Lose, and then all of a sudden your dreams that win the junior championship are gone by the wayside.
Yeah, you're at home watching us on 5 TV.
Yeah. Ouellette quickly up there. And once again, you talk about the front end here of LeFort. Doucette and Weagle try to hold it, but they're going to wreck that yellow one. Not really wreck, but give it a nice little move towards the center line, and another over curl again.
Yep. Just makes me wonder if that draw is even there, even with that wide as that port is. With the way the rocks are diving towards that center line, I just don't know. It just looks so inviting to try it. But they're going to be pounding this one again.
Yep.
There goes McNutt.
Not as intense as he has been for most of these, so he's having a little bit of a break on this one. Going to try to come here through. Can they get there? Couture doing the work here. Now McNutt there taking it in the rest of the way. And he'll drag it. Drag it, boys, drag it, says LeFort. And they do. Top 8.
Nice
July
shot.
1.
That's a tough shot on this ice.
A great shot when you think of it as that, they have, we mentioned it a lot throughout this broadcast, the struggles, and come up with that shot. Look at it.
That's buried.
Yeah, that's like a great team shot. Of course, McKenzie with the help of
I'm surprised that Logan didn't have Alex try to clear off that front a little bit.
And McNutt, great work there, and see what the great work that Doucette here and Weagle can do. On the throw here by Alex Ouellette.
Going to be on his own, maybe?
Yes, he's all over it. Sweeney going to try to push it in and get some good result. Can he get it past to be the shot rock? He'll get there, but not enough. He'll be second shot.
Definitely going to make a play on that one because that's a movable stone for Sweeney to get him out of some trouble later on if he needed it. So they're going to make a play on it. A roll either way would be excellent. Would be great. You don't want to sit right there. If you sit right there, then you're looking at it. You're leaving them a double for Sweeney, but you want to roll one way or the other and take that away. Rolling as to the screen that we're looking at to the left would be excellent because then you could be behind all those rocks and be sitting 2.
Sebastian LeFort out of the Sydney Curling Club. Nose hit and sticks there to lie 2. Sweeney quickly looking at it, but as you can see,
the double's there. It's a really thin double, though. You have to throw a really good weight at it to get that top one to bounce off and go all the way out of the rings. You definitely wouldn't be able to keep your shooter either. So, but at this point, you have a chance to move that one off the 4-foot. You gotta take it. Because it might not be there with Logan's last one if he doesn't.
Logan and Alex having a good chit-chat.
And time will become a factor for these guys.
Well, looking at 13, coming up to about 13 left there. Here we have 8, 9, and 10 still to play.
7, 8, 9, 10. This is the 6th, right? Sorry, this is the 7th now. 8, 9, 10 still.
Yep.
Need another coffee.
You actually got to drink it or just going to go right into your veins? Team from the Yarmouth Curling Club, coached by Aaron Sweeney. Here is Logan here with his first with the hammer here in 7. Nose hit.
I think Sebastian now has got 2 options. He can guard that up there or try to make a play on it. The danger with making a play on it is if you hit it too wide, then you are going to jam it. If you're looking to steal here, which he is, the guard might be the best play. Take that shot away from Logan, but looks like he wants to play the hit. Maybe try and roll over the top and sit 2. Here we are with that dreaded out turn again. Gets too much outside and runs straight on him. He's going to jam it.
Before he sits 1 here with O'Hammer here in 7.
That was all my bad.
Decides to throw a little up weight so far. McNutt, Coach Rohr, bystanders, and
There's the There's the issue with playing that shot.
Yeah, and he'll all of a sudden now Sweeney has a chance here to get 2.
Just going to hit the paint anywhere.
There's talking right now.
And I think with more experience that will come.
I got 385 at 1-year-old son. And like,
That are really try, because he was really trying to go for the 2 and the steal there, where he probably should have played the guard, taken that away from Logan, forced Logan to make a tough shot to get his 1.
Well, with the issues that they've had, I think that sort of tipped his hand or raised his hand to play that shot. And
so now Logan's got a free draw for 2. Especially at this point in the game, or in the 7th end. 2 is big here for Logan. But having said that, he's still going to make the shot.
so the front ends who have been busy for both of these teams going to be relied on here.
And here we go. This is the wide in-turn shot to get to the paint. No, we haven't had seen a whole lot of these shots today, so.
Sweeney got 2 on a steal and in number 1. He got 2 when he had Hammer and in 3, hoping to get another 2 here with Hammer and in number 7 here on his final stone.
Oh, they got to work this. They got to pound it.
Yeah, Weagle had to set. They're right on it. Light from the get-go. You can see their faces getting bright red. They're working hard here, trying to drag it. They just need any piece of the paint.
Nice sweeping, fellas.
And they get there, just there for the 2.
Graham, from here it looks like he has a better chance of making it.
So 6-4 as we head to end number 8.
Yeah. When all said and done, Sebastian might look at that shot that he just made as a critical shot in this game.
Single point there on sheet B with Ryan Abraham versus Manuel. And Abraham up 4-2 as they are into the 7th. So if you're just joining us here on a Friday morning, my name is Dan Hobson alongside Jeff Fitzgerald, the Bell 5 TV1 here at the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships. On TV1, you see your score there. Sweeney up by 2 here in the 8th. Playing the blue-handled stones. LeFort has a hammer with the yellow here in 8. Sweeney has done a fantastic job. He stole 5 points in his win yesterday against Gray and has stolen 2 there in the first. So he's definitely been shown an aggressive style, and this one will go into the house there on their first one.
Sebastian will ignore that and throw up a corner guard. He really needs to manufacture his deuce now to get back to even.
Bell 5 TV1 cameras are on sheet C in the game between Justin Gray and Ethan Young, and they are on a timeout there. 4-3 the score there. Young over Gray as they play the 8th end. Gray got a single point there at 7, so to make it 4-3.
Interesting scene on sheet here, E here, Dan, with the 2 Weagle brothers kibitzing back and forth here in the house.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting situations, of course, on sheet E. It's the sheet right next to us. Of course, Ryan Weagle, the team out of the Graham Weagle, the team out of the Chester Curling Club. throws third stone, but of course is skip of the team. So Owen Purcell throws fourth rock for them, and for Sokolik, it's Weagle is the third and calls most of the game. And Sokolik does a lot of the sweeping, does a lot of the work there, but is the skip for the team. So chance for the, as you said, the brothers to have a conversation there.
And who says a skip can't sweep?
I never said that.
It's been said.
Guess I should ask you this while we're on this topic. Has there ever been in conversations? Well, what do you know? You're just a skip. You never had the sweep.
Exactly.
Had to do it sometime in their life, that's for sure. Couple of guards here as we get back and focus our attention here on the 8th end of the Sweeney versus LeFort matchup here as they try to do the come around here. McNutt may have himself a good shot, but it's going to come to an end, and a little bit of you can see some of the rock, but they want to get buried behind that yellow, but definitely accessible as you see with that shot there.
Yeah, LeFort's going to run into some difficulty here. That was that blue guard out front, providing some protection for Logan. Now he's going to try and bump his own rock back into the 4-foot area. Sebastian may have to scramble a bit, maybe peel off that guard at some point if Sweeney executes this shot. It's hanging on them though.
Not much of a brush laid here by Weagle.
Maybe plan B to go around it.
It's going to come to a stop there, but will it stop at enough time to stay? Yes, it will. Back 8. Is the shot rock?
Yeah.
As you said, went deeper than what they really wanted and intended it for.
There goes Sebastian peeling off that top guard.
Reese Couture. Big weight so far. Break here for McKenzie and McNutt. Removes the blue handle stone. The shooter goes as well.
Great shot.
Nick Doucette, the team's second here. If anything for these teams, it's definitely been a good learning experience here for them.
Oh, without a doubt. They'll take this back with them and apply what they learned to their, for some of them, the Under-18 championships will be coming up, and for 4 of them, there'll be the Canada Winter Games qualifier in March. So lots of big events on the curling calendar for these guys still to come yet this year.
Well, Fort going to, of course, ask his team here to remove here this one just thrown by Doucette. Reese Couture, given the responsibilities.
He's going to try and get some action on both of those, I think, if he can. To get the right angle, get them both moving.
McNutt and McKenzie.
Ooh.
Jam there in the front.
Little exchange of stones there. It's not the end of the world, but it brings it closer to the center line, which is not the greatest for Sebastian. It's a little tougher to get access to those blue ones that are in the rings. Logan's going to just keep throwing up junk, I think, and try to make it difficult for Sebastian to get in there.
(4-2) Graham Weagle over Stefano Sokolik there. Sheet E as they play into end number 8. As Weagle got a single point in the 7th. So So you've heard this term deja vu all over again. We had a long blue guard and a yellow one sort of tight towards the house. Same situation right now as it was a few seconds ago.
Yeah, the angle on this was a little better for LeFort. Now he can try to drive his own one into the rings, but even on the intern that overcurled on them and
removes the blue stone. Shooter goes.
Not a bad result. Good plan B. I think their first choice would have been to drive their own yellow one back into the blue one that's in the 12-foot, but when you're throwing that kind of weight, you got to make sure you move something. You can't miss everything, 'cause that's a disaster.
Still 4-2 on sheet B. Abraham over Manuel here as they play the 7th. Actually, they just put a 1 up on the board, so change that. 4-3 as a single point here by Manuel as they head to the 8th.
Weagle and Doucette dragged that rock a long ways. Great sweep in there for those young fellas.
Muppet Show, and of course the Muppets had a song they called Moving Right Along, and that's the case in point there on our other game there in sheet C between Justin Gray and Ethan Young. Single point there for Justin Gray in the 8th as they play the 9th.
They are moving along, aren't they?
Very much. Yes. 4-4 as they play the 9th. Just waiting for some heads to get out of the way there of the scoreboard there.
Justin stole one in the 8th. Logan will try to remove this yellow stone and reduce the chances for Sebastian to get his deuce this end. Could try come around the other way and get another one into the top 4, but he's decided to try and take this rock away.
Rows the yellow. Will the blue stick around? No, not the case. Hoping for a spin back, and it can't come back. And Sweeney team line 1 without Hammer here in the 8th.
Going to come with the in-turn draw this time, as opposed to that out-turn. Scared them right off, I think.
Well, if it's providing difficulty, why use it? It's not really much of a benefit if you know that it's going to overgrow on you.
Yeah, and if you're not sure where to put the broom and how much ice or how much weight to throw. Like we were saying earlier, go with what you're most comfortable with or least comfortable with.
Skip rocks here in 8th. Sebastian LeFort out of the Sydney Curling Club.
They got to work on that. It's diving toward the center line.
McKenzie was thinking about popping out, but I think they're going to bump onto their yellow. And they do. Can they raise the yellow in? Not enough.
Just provide more protection for that one at the back.
Well, Sweeney has a force here.
Yeah, he's got a great opportunity to steal here. If he can put a rock in the top of the 4 foot behind those yellow rocks, LeFort have to really make a tough out-turn draw, which he was just trying to avoid.
Right now he lies 1, hoping to lie 2 after this one here. His final will vote hammering in number 8, Logan Sweeney.
That looks like a lot of weight to me, Dan. Not laying a broom to it.
Yeah, it's not really necessarily a bad situation because you're not wrecking and opening something up. don't know if that was the plan from the get-go.
No, certainly not. They would have liked to have wrapped that into the top 4 foot. That leaves Sebastian with a more comfortable in-turn draw that he's more comfortable with. But still, it is just for 1, so Sweeney will be happy with this end, regardless of what happens here.
Final stone, Sebastian LeFort here. Draw for 1. McNutt and Coach Orr, and you can hear them going on it. Is that going to come over? Could we be possibly looking at a steal? Are they going to get past those yellow guards? They give it maybe the slightest of slightest rubs, but it may actually help benefit them.
Nice shot.
And get it right to the back 4 to out-count the blue one for their single point.
Great sweeping by the front end yet again. McNutt and McKenzie.
So 6-5 as we head to end 9 here. The front ends for these teams coming up big.
Pardon me, that was McNutt and Couture.
I'm sure that's probably going through McNutt's mind. It's like, I get to throw a stone. This is a break.
Yeah, take a breather. But this is the tough part about curling. You go from that high of sweeping and your blood, your heart's pumping, and so. But then you get into the hack and throw a rock. So you need to steel yourself. Just take a couple deep breaths. Try to slow that heartbeat down a little bit. These lead rocks are key for LeFort at this point. Here in the 9th end, he's down 1. Really needs to go hard for the steal. So you really need McNutt to have this rock out front.
Ford coming out here, so he's going to get like 3 brooms on it. Actually, yep, they'll get all 3 brooms, and he said it needed to be out front, so of course that does what the task is, does what he's told to do.
That third sweeper really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. The first 2 are the key ones. Usually when that third guy comes out, somebody else will drop off just because he's fresher.
Yeah.
It makes for a nice picture, a nice show on TV to have all 3 guys sweeping, but this is
Look
just
at the
peeling
curl on
off.
this one is
Just peeling right off the center line.
that's going to be basically out on the wings, and really not much of a help here for Sweeney.
Cover some of the 12 foot, but that's about it. Not a whole lot at all. Actually, almost nothing, really. Just the outer edge.
Yeah.
Chance for McNutt to go around that center guard now. And
I have a funny feeling that it's going to be a nice little ring there right where that rock is, because it's probably not going to see much in terms of attention or any action.
no,
Be a nice little ring once they remove it there later on after the end of the end.
yeah, we haven't seen anything out there on that side other than Logan's last draw on the 7th when he just draw for 2.
Trying to do the come around here is McNutt. It looked like a beautiful shot here.
Very well placed. Lined up perfectly.
El Perfecto, as you see.
Another 10, 12 inches deeper wouldn't have hurt them at all, but nothing wrong with that at all.
El Almost Perfecto.
Almost. El Presidente.
Yeah.
There's an Expos reference.
Here's Craig Weigel.
And there it
Taking
goes.
off again. They'll just try to get it to the house, and they can. And they'll get it for the shot rock there in the 8-foot area. But while open, as you mentioned, that blue one well to the wings, well to the side, easily accessible.
So we'll allow LeFort to try and hit that and try to roll towards the center line. Hit and roll is a very difficult shot to execute. Easy to call. Everybody, I think when you're looking at it, you think, well, we can make this. Looks pretty easy, but they're so precise in terms of weight and angle. This one's curling on them.
Doing a good job holding the line is McNutt and McKenzie by that big, huge port.
Just
Get a piece of the rock and shooter goes as well.
Yeah, you prefer the shooter to stay, but now Logan will peel off that front.
Nick Doucette. When did they give him the nickname Dewey? I was going to say that. I said that rock was not going to go anywhere. They almost bumped that out. I was going to say, yeah, I gave that the jinx. And they just missed it. Guess you never say never in this sport.
Never say never. Never say never, ever. Never.
Now write that down. Never, ever, ever say never. You get that right?
Never.
Okay. When we get done, we'll write it down at the end of the air.
For posterity's sakes. Take credit for it.
Write it down and make it into a billboard sign. Reese Couture.
Boys got to work on this one to get her there.
And it will come to a rest. Just shy of the center line.
Logan will keep peeling until they don't make it perfect. In which case he'll have a chance to run that yellow one out and try to blank the end.
Well, that's his game plan. Keep the hammer going into 10. Definitely wanted it on the even ends. But LeFort, of course, was forced to take a single as we'll get rid of the yellow guard belonging to the Sebastian LeFort team out of the Sydney Curling Club, and shooter goes as still bye-bye as well.
Sebastian will keep throwing up that guard until his last one, and then he'll bring his last one into the house to sit two, try to force Logan into the single.
Nicholas McKenzie. Colin line, of course, holding broom with Sebastian LeFort.
Gotta go hard on that one, fellas.
Things start to get loud on intense ice level here.
Not Couture doing it again.
Long guard. Just barely tucked that in the hog line here. Looks like Blue Jay loving Alex Ouellette. Well, remove that one, and once again, that yeah.
They're trying to get that rock out for you, Dan.
Yeah, keep on trying, boys. One lonely Yellowstone in the house belonging to LeFort. He's without hammer here in end number 9. This one may be a little bit light too. See McKenzie not happy with the release after he let it go. Hoping that they could get it across, but
in the water.
No. That ran out of gas.
Logan's going to try to use that guard now. Danny's going to try and hit and roll way over behind that rock. Might come into play after all.
Boy, but it's going to be a tough one to try to stick it. That's the thing. Doucette and Weagle. They're going to get the roll towards the other side. July 1 with Hammer here in the 9th. So of course there was a lot of rocks to play in the first end, but it really was not really the indication. Things sort of tightened up as we went along. Of course, also difficulties there. The teams, possible change in the ice conditions, the out turn giving them difficulties. So it's sort of like we were expecting a big offensive one we were talking about earlier, but that has not come to truth. Light cleaning here by Couture and McNutt.
That's trouble. Flashed it. Not what LeFort needed right there.
No, because now all of a sudden
that puts 2 back on the table for Logan. For 6 rocks, Logan was thinking about blanking this end. Now all of a sudden it's flipped. Now he's looking
got to take advantage of it here.
Yeah.
Saw there the guys were looking up at the clock, seeing 7:06. Of course, remaining here for the Logan Sweeney team and for the LeFort team, 10 minutes and 10 seconds. So they're taking a look at the clock here.
Plenty of time.
Clock management here on its way here for the remaining couple of ends as we're into end number 9.
Logan's got to get that there. Sweeper's got to drag that.
Yeah, he's got a gold opportunity. He has to take advantage of it. He cannot afford to be late, but it looks like he may get there with the help of Doucette. And you could see both those guys might be gassed after the last one. Their face is about as red as the red 4-foot area after scraping that one in to get it to lie to.
Yeah, they were looking to get maybe another 4 or 5 inches on that just to get the rocks level so there'd be no chance for a double here. Sebastian has a chance for a really thin double, but he's got to throw some serious weight at it to make it happen. Big thing here is he's got to make contact with at least one of them. He'd like to make the 2, of course, but
trailing by 1 and
that's the problem with throwing that big weight.
And now what could have been a possible goose egg turned to a 2,
now
maybe a 3.
Maybe a 3 and maybe handshakes.
He started the championships here having to face in the juggernaut known as the Graham Weagle team and lost 10-2 on day 1. Bounced back yesterday with a 6-4 win over Justin Gray. And then, of course, the loss to Stefan Sokolik, 9-3. A chance here for a 3 spot. Final stone end number 9 here for Logan Sweeney. A chance to take a commanding lead here if he could get his 3 and have a 4-point lead. Heading into the 10th. And he does get the 3.
And that's it.
Yeah, they're going to shake hands here, so that will be your final.
Big win for Logan, capitalizing on
9-5 the final score here in this one. And Sweeney improves his record to 2-2, and for Sebastian LeFort, his championships come to an end at 0-3. And I guess you could say we talked about it off the top, how in their games against Young and Sokolik, 8-7, they lost by like 1 point. And they've got them into this game where there really wasn't much room for error. And all of a sudden they had some errors here in this one that it cost them. unable to get a win here at the championships, as their championships has, disappointingly come to an end for that team out of the Sydney Curling Club.
Yeah.
Let's get your thoughts on this one here before we wrap things up.
Well, both teams struggled early, Dan, with their weight and trying to figure out those out, especially on the out turn. For Sebastian, he made some critical mistakes today that Logan was able to take advantage of. So they're going to go home and look back on this as a good experience and chalk it up and come back, like I say, the rest of their season, and they'll be back here again next year, no doubt. For Logan, not a great game, but they get the W, and that's the most important thing at this point.
Stays alive right now at 2-2, so he just has to, thing is he's had one bad game, one good game, and this was, one bad game, one good game, so he's hoping that trend maybe come to an end. And maybe it's not how you start, but how you finish, and trying to finish strong here. Well, Jeff Fitzgerald, thanks once again for joining us here. Appreciate it, and hopefully get a chance to work one of the other games here throughout the rest of the weekend here so far. Thanks again.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks. Once again, final score 9-5. Team Sweeney over Team LeFort. Of course, Team Sweeney skipped by Logan Sweeney, Craig Weigel, Nick Doucette, Alex Ouellette, and they're coached by Aaron McKenzie over the Sebastian LeFort team, Aidan McNutt, Reese Couture, Nicholas McKenzie, and coached by Yvonne LeFort out of the Sydney Curling Club. 9-5 once again. So for our entire Bell 5 TV1 crew, our producer Chuck Calder, and of course our color colleague Jeff Fitzgerald, my name is Dan Hobson. Thank you for watching the 2017 AMJ Campbell Nova Scotia Junior Curling Championships here on Bell 5 TV1. So long from the Lakeshore Curling Club in Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia.